Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another video. I have been putting off this video for a long time, but I thought since I've seen so many videos about people wanting to start a 2019 no spend year, I thought I should talk about my 2018 no spend year and why it failed, the mistakes that I made, and whether I would try and do it again, and any advice that I would give any of you who are trying to save a bit of money or just try and reduce their waste by not contributing so much to things like fast fashion, etc. So here it goes. That's better. I've decided to try and drink some more water, so I've got my water, but maybe you grab a cup of tea and let's get straight into the video. Hashtag resolutions. Doing it. Okay, so let's talk about my no spend year. I decided for the whole of 2018 to do a no spend year, where I basically tried not to spend any money on things that weren't necessities, things that weren't stuff that I needed, which is the same as necessities. And I did this because I wanted to quit my job and I wanted to go fully freelance, and because also I wanted to get more control over my money and stop spending so much on just other shit that I didn't need. This also helped me to reduce my waste dramatically, because I was no longer kind of like impulse buying and buying just crap that I would use a couple of times and then wouldn't use again, or just, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But there are lots of ways that I went wrong, and this is why I ended up falling off and not really contributing to my no spend year in a positive way, and eventually just deciding to stop doing it. But that doesn't mean there weren't loads of really positive and amazing things that actually came out of it, so I'm definitely going to be talking about those as well. But let's just talk, actually, do you know what, let's always start with the positive, so let's start there. So I actually started off 2018 January really well. I was so proud of myself. Everything that I didn't buy, going for holidays at a time without spending any money, it made me feel really good, because I felt like having money in the bank is such a privilege, and it's such a great feeling to feel that security, that I kind of motivated me to keep going. And it felt like a challenge, and it was a challenge. It felt like a game to kind of be like, oh, I spent no money today. Especially if you have an app like Monzo or something, then you can kind of track and see, and it'll tell you spent £0 today, and you're just like, yes, yes. So I felt really good. January was great, February was fine, March was even pretty good. And it's because, do you know what I've realised? It's because they were winter months, so I really wasn't going out that much. I really didn't want to leave my house. I really wasn't being very sociable, so it was actually a lot easier to be on my no spend year. But that got slightly harder as we got into the kind of spring month entering into summer, and that's because my friends were going out for drinks and dinners and all this kind of stuff, and I realized that that's actually one of the ways that I see my friends. And because they're so busy, sometimes we can only catch each other for an hour or a couple of hours at a time, and that would usually manifest itself in dinner, where we could get lots of people together. Now, I did invite them around to my house a lot, and I did make people food a lot, and we did go and hang out at theirs a lot, but people get bored of that. You know, people want to go out occasionally, especially if they're not doing a no spend year. So I definitely got caught up in that. Because I was too regimented about it at the beginning, it kind of put me in this mindset where I was like, I resent this, I hate this now, I'm not enjoying it, why am I doing this? I completely just forgot about all the reasons why I did it in the first place, and I started to just peter off at that point, and I started to go out for dinner a bit more. I started to buy a few things at the grocery store that were just just really massive treats that I really didn't need, or even actually want that much. I was just desperate for a treat, so I was like, I'm gonna get this delicious thing. But anyway, the positives though that came out of it. So I reckon I did it really well for the first 3 months. The next 3 months were much harder, but I still kept to the majority of it. And the last 6 months was just an utter shit show, really. But that doesn't mean it was a complete failure, or there weren't little successes. So let's talk about those. First success is I was actually able to save enough money to enable me to quit my job and go fully freelance and have a buffer for at least 3 or 4 months, so that I could use that time to really work on my business, work on my YouTube, getting clients for my freelance work, and ensuring that I actually had a constant, or a kind of less fluctuating stream of revenue coming in. So I was able to save, I think it was like £4,000 in those kind of 6 month. But I mean, I wasn't earning that much from my previous job, so, and I was trying to save literally the majority of my money after bills and food, etc. And I was able to basically live off that and have some left over. And when I started making like proper money from my freelance job, which was really, really good. So I mean, imagine if I had stayed at that job, or if I had a slightly better job before that and I was continually saving and sticking to it, I probably could have saved about £10,000 last year. Yeah, so I was able to save a lot of money, which was really good, and it made that I could quit my job and go fully freelance and have that security just in case it didn't necessarily work out straight away, or it took some time, or in fact if it didn't work out, then I could still have a bit of buffer to go and get another job. The second thing that I was just thinking about when I was thinking about this video is actually I haven't realised how much I've changed in terms of the way I think about money and the way I think about spending and the stuff that I actually buy now. I probably can count on one hand, this one, how many new items of clothing I bought last year, or even just thrifted clothing. I reckon I could count them on this hand, honestly, maybe two hands. I don't think so though. I really hardly bought any clothes whatsoever. I hardly bought any tech whatsoever, only things that I genuinely needed for YouTube. What did I buy? I didn't buy any new cameras, obviously. I have this one, I love this one. I've got my little one, love it. I bought a mini tripod, but that's because my other tripod was a pile of shit and it just like would shake like this, so I could never get it straight. I still stuck with this microphone even though it's a pile of poo, and anyway, it doesn't matter, that's not the point. Honestly, I have not bought that much, and also some of the stuff that I've been wearing has actually been handed down to me from family members and stuff like that, or I bought secondhand or whatever. It's been really great. I've been able to actually change my spending habits quite also subconsciously. I didn't really realise how much I'd taken in from my no spend and actually allowed that to manifest itself in sort of habits that I now have. Also, when I went fully freelance, I stopped commuting to work, which meant that I was much more likely to get on my bike and cycle into town because I didn't have to go into town every day, so it felt like less of a labour-intensive thing. I also found that I made so much more food and coffee, etc. at home, and I wasn't really spending money on that. So now when I do go out for a coffee or I do go out for a meal, it's actually so much more enjoyable and it feels like a massive treat. Also, when I did go freelance, it meant that I was actually tighter on money, and just because I had my savings, it didn't mean that I suddenly had all this money I could just spend on whatever. So that entailed me kind of realising that I needed to be more frugal. So that, even though the last 6 months of the no spend year was shit in my opinion, I still actually think that it went well, and it meant that I had to be frugal because I had less money coming in, and that was really quite terrifying for me. But I have changed the way I think about it, and I actually spend so little money now, and the only stuff that I really buy are absolute essentials for like my business and my job and food. I never really buy new stuff. I never really need anything. I have everything I could possibly need in my bedroom and in my flat. Great. So what went wrong in terms of things that you can actually change if you're doing a no spend year? Well, I just watched a fairly local vegan's video on her like 2019 no spend year for if you guys want to join her, and it's a really, really, really great video, so I definitely recommend that you go and watch it. And it was when I watched that video that I realised precisely actually where I went wrong last year. And I went wrong because I really didn't plan very well. I didn't plan a budget of how much I was actually allowed to spend each month. I didn't, as in like on necessities. I didn't write down what my necessities were, so food. I mean, obviously I knew food, but I didn't like write these things down. I didn't organise myself at all. I didn't plan for emergencies or anything like that. And yeah, I just really didn't do any of the things that you were meant to do when embarking on such a challenge. And so I would highly recommend, if you are going to do a no spend month or a no spend year, I would recommend writing down everything. What money you have coming in, what money absolutely has to go out, how much money should you be left at the end of that, how much can you put in an emergency fund for just in case stuff, what are your necessities, how much money are you willing to spend on those necessities, what are possible things that could crop up. Like last summer, for example, I went to a friend's wedding, and because it was in Italy, we wanted to make the most of that and not just fly over there for a weekend, because that would have, felt a bit wasteful. So instead we decided to make a trip out of it, me and my friends, and I did try to be as low cost as possible, but I didn't buy any souvenirs, I didn't buy any clothes, like new clothes for the holiday, I didn't buy new shoes for the holiday, I didn't buy a new outfit for the wedding, I borrowed one. I tried to be as low cost as possible, but of course when you're in Italy, you're going to spend money on food, and if your friends always want to eat out, etc., you're going to be doing that as well. So that was something that I took into consideration, but I didn't truly plan out maybe a budget for how much I wanted to spend on that holiday. So if you already have holidays plan or things like that, then I would definitely write a strict budget if you do want to do a no spend year and be quite careful about it, because then, you know, you can still just buy groceries when you go there or eat out a couple of times but not as many. And, you know, also what I didn't realise, which a fairly local vegan said, is sometimes she does it for 3 months, she takes a break, and then she does it for 3 months and she takes a break. And I didn't think about that. What I was thinking about was, as soon as I take a break or I fail, then that's the end of it. That's me completely failing my no spend year, which is ridiculous and it's stupid. And so what I think is, if you want to do it, I would schedule in maybe even some breaks. So you do 3 months of, you know, no spend, and then maybe a week where you're a bit more relaxed, or a whole month. And I know you might be really dedicated to do a whole year, but that's okay if you take a break, or if you take a small kind of just, you know, absence from the no spend. And I would definitely recommend it if you're a bit crap with money or you just haven't budgeted well. But I would highly recommend to go and watch the Fairly Local Vegans video, because she's clearly very good at this. Her and her husband managed to get out of, like, pay off like 70 grand's worth of debt in like 2 years or something ridiculous. So they have some great tips over there. But yeah, so technically my year failed, but I still feel like there were parts of it that went well, and I am going to try January, maybe February. I don't know. I'm going to try more no spends this year. Maybe just a week, maybe just a month, who knows? But I'm definitely going to try it. Let me know if you're doing a no spend year this year. Let me know if you did one last year. Let me know your tips, and also share with everyone else here your tips, etc. And yeah, I hope you like this video. Sorry it took me so long to do an update. I guess it was one of those things where you're like putting it off because you failed, and you're like, I don't want to have to tell all these people that I did so badly. But then at the end of the day, it's your own challenge. Who cares? You know, it's your challenge. So yeah, anyway, I hope you like this video. If you're looking for some more vlog style videos, I started posting them over on Patreon, so go and check that out. Thank you to all my patrons, obviously you're wonderful. Thank you to you guys for watching. Give it a like if you liked it, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.